Cyril the Fogman lives in Misty Valley. He puts detonators on the line to warn engines to be careful in the foggy weather. Said detonators are now distributed by the Brenham Bay Blasting Company. After the foghorn, which temporarily replaced Cyril, caused a rock slide and got crushed, a new one was purchased from the same company. It is now primarily used as a way to help guide ships into harbors and warn engines of danger in areas that aren't mountains. It is always kept busy, and I'm sure if it was sentient, it would be very happy. During this winter season, Sir Topham Hatt had assigned Thomas to help with track maintenance all around the island, and that included helping with fog warning and control. One evening, Sir Topham Hatt decided to speak to Cyril at Macleod. "I greatly appreciate your work up in Misty Valley," he said, "but weather reports state the fog will be much more severe this year. Would you like to work with Thomas during the evenings to place detonators on the main line so engines will be aware during the day?" "Yes, sir," replied Cyril. "Thank you for your help. You and Thomas will work together splendidly." Soon Thomas and Cyril were placing detonators all over the Island of Sodor. Terence the tractor also helped. One evening, most of the engines went back to their sheds early so they could avoid the fog and upcoming snowstorm that night. "You gotta be f***ing with me." "Thomas," called Molly, "what are you doing on the main line?" But fortunately, the signalman saw her coming and diverted her onto another line. "I'm kind of regretting agreeing to do this if this is what we nearly run into," Thomas sighed. "If the signalmen don't notice we're here, what will happen when the snow falls tonight?" "We'll be fine on that one," said Cyril.
"More engines will learn to be aware, but what if some idiot decides to put the foghorn back in the Rocky Valley?"
"Leave it to me," came a voice. It was Terence the tractor. He was helping spread salt on the main roads. "I'll go down all the branch lines while you work on the main lines and lay down additional detonators. After that, I'll put the foghorn at the docks with a warning sign reminding engines not to take it." "Thank you, Terence," smiled Thomas. "That would be great." "You're welcome." Later, Terence had collected the foghorn and set off for the docks, unaware of what he would find there. Soon Terence arrived at Brenham Docks. Workmen turned off the foghorn and warned other engines not to take it. Thomas continues to learn that even caterpillar tracks have their uses. I love it. Then he saw someone he'd never met before. "Oh, ha!
What were you talking about just now?"
Just about how useful my caterpillar tracks can be. I taught Thomas that before."
He'll learn even more about how useful your tractors are. Will you do me a favor?
"Sure."
Tell me where we use this horn. I'm saying this as a new employee of Sir Topham Hatt.
In coastal areas, anywhere really. Just don't put it in Misty Valley. It's not safe up there. We place detonators on the line up there. It's a much more simple fog warning.
I'll stay out of it.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? Knowing that the track was now blocked, Cyril ran to his shed. He laid down 2 detonators outside the entrance to Misty Valley and put out a red oil lamp further down the line, but unbeknownst to him, it was too late. Neville was coming up the line with a goods train. "I can't see," he gasped as he puffed through the fog and mist. "What is going on?" "Cyril probably just forgot about putting detonators on the line," says driver. "I don't know what's happening. Maybe we just can't feel it in this fog and snow." Neville randomly decided to speed up in hopes of getting out of the danger, and when he found out that was an unwise decision, it was too late. "F*** my life," he sighed as his driver applied the brakes. Will I ever succeed at pulling trains? When forces aren't working against you, yeah. "Is everyone alright?" asked Stepney. "I'm sorry I couldn't see anything." "It's not your fault. Someone probably set off a f***ing bomb under this mountain. I have a feeling this was an act of revenge, a declaration of war." "Oh no, you didn't have any passengers, did you, Daisy?" "No, I was just going to sleep at Callan." "But that's not happening tonight. This is not what my fitter had in mind." "Another crash on this branch line again," grunted Airy. "I'd still take it over dealing with Splatter and Dodge again," replied Bert. "Those two can be stunt performers with Smudge or whatever he's doing now." "Yeah, we could talk all night if we want," said Stepney's driver, "but the point stands. Some kind of stupid, insane shit happened. How are we gonna get out of this? This feels like the battle scene from Transformers 5, except even worse somehow." "We do not speak of that dumpster fire." When daylight came, the pack went up to Misty Valley to help Harvey and the breakdown crane clear up the mess. It took about 3 hours to get things back in order. Back at the docks, police surveyed the security footage of the foghorn being stolen. "Who could have done this one?" asked the chief in confusion. "What was the motive here?" "It's Boulder Burbender," said Thomas firmly, "and I think I know why this happened."
It was a filthy green caterpillar who was mining at Boulder Port today. I may have been fired for supporting Smudger, but it was because he was never properly re-gauged to fit British rates. When I find Percy in his blue puff-puff bed, I will bring him justice.
"But he hasn't lived on Sodor since 2000, added Cyril. "How did he know how to do this in Misty Valley?" "I might have been tricked by him," said Terrence sadly. He had just come back from helping clear the tracks in Misty Valley and told Thomas what had happened. "I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm sorry I let my trusting attitude get the better of me." "I want to be cross with you," replied Thomas, "but I can't. You're too genuine. Just be careful about who you trust in the future." "I understand, but how are you going to deal with him now?" "We play his game with him," grunted Cyril. "He tried to wreak havoc at the docks, then we'll bring him karma at the docks. I also read that he finds salty grating a sin, so we use that to our advantage." From then on, all the engines of Sodor were warned about Burbender. He is planning another scheme, but they're ready for him.